Oddbody by Rose Keating is an alternative litfic short story collection that comes out tomorrow. Thank you to Canongate for giving me an early release copy so that I could read it, and now we can review it. I had planned to review this one much sooner, but unlike certain creators on this platform, I actually like to read the arcs that I intend to review.
My bullies! These are bullies! These are high school fucking bullies!
I always find it challenging to review a anthology in a way that's balanced and actually represents the whole anthology. I would compare it to when you're listening to a new album for the first time and certain songs jump out at you straight away. You think, oh, I like those. Other ones feel like fillers, you sort of skim read them, but then if you come back to the anthology later on, you sort of feel differently about them over time. This is very much the same experience for me, where there were stories that I had an immediate liking of. There were other ones that I think were just lost on me. The through theme in this anthology is women's horror, so it's lots of things that are particularly scary to the female experience. So I think for a lot of these, I was taking them in vicariously and thinking about why this would be scary to a female reader. And that's why some of them, like Eggshells, I really enjoyed because it perfectly played on societal expectations around women and pressuring women into decisions about having children, you know, saying things like, oh, you know, you're born with all your eggs, like, oh, you're running out of your eggs. That was very clever, and it felt very reflective of like true experiences that young girls have to go through, where everyone's sort of breathing down their neck expecting them to have children. So I thought that was a shining star. Other stories that were less successful for me, I like to make notes as I go through an anthology as well, so that I actually keep track of all the stories, because we have 10 stories here. It'd be very easy to forget about some of the less memorable ones. So Mouthful, for instance, I've just put question marks. I actually can't remember what that one particularly was about, but I think some of them I found difficult to follow versus other ones. Like Squirm I really enjoyed because that was weird, but in a way that was easy to digest. It was just like, oh, her dad's a worm? Question mark. Like, it was creepy and weird. It was very like Our Wives Under the Sea, where her next of kin, her like closest member of her family, is not quite human, but she's keyed into it and is taking care of him, and he like lives in the shower. It's very strange. But then other stories, we've got to talk about The Test. The Test was probably my favourite story in the anthology, because I don't read a lot of like fae type fantasy, because my mind immediately goes to Akatar, and I'm never going there. I'm just not, sorry. But The Test, 10 out of 10 for me. It was like a king of Feyland, like a king of the fairies. He's choosing a consort from the human race, and so all these young girls have to sit almost sort of like an entrance exam where they have to write in an essay and explain what's so special about them. And it was very much playing on like the not like other girl trope and the expectation of women to compare themselves to other women. I thought that one was very shrewd, very interesting. I love The Test. But there's definitely a lot of breadth in this anthology. Like, I wouldn't say that any two horror stories follow a particular theme. I mean, there's a lot of body horror, but you would expect that in something like this. We see extreme body modifications in Pineapple. We see Hollywood gross quid quo pro in Notes on Performance. We also, the title story, Oddbody itself, is to do with like ghosts lingering and like watching you in your more intimate moments. Like there's some creative ideas in here. I think there's enough going on to make it a worthwhile read, particularly if you enjoy that kind of alternative, weird girl lit. Like, I think this is definitely worth picking up. But that was my thoughts on Oddbody. I think as far as anthologies go, I would recommend it. It's worth a shot. It's not a particularly long book, and it comes out tomorrow, so why not?